Hello and welcome to Sweet Tea and Thread. I'm Shai.
And I'm Bethany. We're on podcast episode 17. I kind of can't believe we're at 17 already. It's just
I know.
But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us again if you're a returning viewer. And if you're new, welcome. We hope you enjoy. We're primarily a knitting and crochet podcast, but we usually try to share some of our sewing or quilting because we enjoy all types of crafts.
Right.
You can leave us a like down below and a comment. Let us know what you're working on, and feel free to subscribe. That'll just, YouTube will know that you're interested in seeing when we upload a new video. So
yeah, and as you can see, we're still, we've been using the term social distancing, but I heard someone say, we really ought to just call it physical distancing because we're still being social. And I kind of like that. But Bethany's in Alabama and I'm in Tennessee. And eventually, hopefully, we're going to get back to a more normal podcasting, getting to podcast actually together. And that will be nice when we get to do that.
Yeah. I think I've kind of gotten used to this a little bit, though. We're more comfortable with the format because in the beginning I was sitting there going, oh my goodness, I don't know if I like this.
I know it feels a little weird, but these are what they are. And so this has really been nice because so many programs have been using Zoom. I'm a fan of Jimmy Fallon, and he's been doing it. It's been real fun to see the stars in their homes and that kind of thing, and doing what they do. So, and we've been having knit nights on Zoom, and that's been fun. We've been doing them every week on Tuesday night. So anybody that wants to join, we usually post that on Thread's Facebook page. The ID meeting number and password. So, if you would like to join us, you can look that up, and we would love for you to.
Yeah.
Once again, I have no finished objects. I had very good intentions. They didn't quite work out the way I had hoped. Yeah. But Bethany has a few finished projects to share. So
yeah. Real quick, Shai wanted me to show the Alejandra shawl again because I've added the fringe to it at this point, so you can kind of see what that looks like. So just a reminder, this is the Alejandra shawl, and there's the fringe.
Yeah, I just thought the way she did the fringe was really cool. It kind of looks like tassels hanging down. It's not placed typically as fringe is.
Yeah. The thing I like about this is the fact that she recommended in the pattern, and the pattern designer is Locatelli. I forgot to mention that, but she recommended in the pattern that you use all three colors of your yarn for this, for the fringe. So I think it looks really good.
I really like it. Mm-hmm.
So
I do.
Yep. I added the fringe. It hasn't gone to the shop yet, just because I wanted to get some finished object photos and have not been able to coordinate that with my photographer.
Yeah.
My sister helps me out with some of my outfit photos or finished object photos sometimes. So she's been pretty busy because our semester is about to be over in college, and she took more classes than I did this semester, so she's been pretty busy with all the final assignments and things, but I'll get that photo soon and it'll be at the shop. Keep going.
Oh my.
So the thing that I kind of worked on a lot this week, or 2 days of this week because it didn't take too long, I finally finished the October hat. So this is a cabled hat. The pattern was originally designed for Kelborn Woolens. We actually knit this out of some of my yarn that I've dyed. in my Aran base, and this is the Jolly Green Giant color. And so it's a really, really like long brim. It's meant to be folded. So you're meant to wear it folded like that. And I'll even put it on.
Cute.
But it uses a provisional cast on to create a tubular cast on edge, which, looking back on the pattern, I'm not the biggest fan of, just because my stitches are a little bit loose on the cast on edge. Other than that, the pattern is pretty straightforward. It's a charted cable pattern, which I've talked about before. I didn't follow the chart for the Alejandra shawl because it was a little bit too much for me to kind of follow along. I followed the written instructions. But with this, since it was knit in the round and it was cables, it was just 2 different cable stitches. So that was a little bit more easy to follow in the charted pattern. There are no written instructions for the cables, unfortunately, for this pattern. It's just a chart, but there's a chart key, and they give you information about the stitches, what they mean. You know, the cable stitch, it'll tell you, you put this many stitches on your cable needle, where to hold it, whether in the front or back, knit so many stitches, then knit off the cable needle. So they explain it in the pattern, and then you read the chart. So it is a free pattern. It's available on Ravelry. I'm not sure if you could go to Kelborn Woolen's website and get the pattern. Do you know if that's an option?
I don't. But I can look it up and see.
Yeah, if it is an option, we'll put it in the description below. We put all of our show notes, the things that we talk about, down in the description below. So it's right below the video, and you can just click on. There's usually a little button that'll say show more, or it's an arrow button. It'll just drop down, you know, the description of all that we're working on, our social links, things like that. So yeah, I mean, the hat turned out really nicely. I had the brim done for quite a while and didn't do the rest of the hat, but I decided this week I needed to get it done. So I worked on that, and it took me 2 days to finish. So it's a very repeatable pattern, and it's intuitive if you have done cables before. The other thing about the pattern I'll mention is the brim, or not the brim, but the crown of the hat is very rapid decreases. So once you finish those cables, you feel like an instant gratification of, you know, only a few rows to decrease and you're done. It's not like you have to decrease and then knit a couple of rows and then decrease and knit a couple of rows. Like, it's rapid decreasing for the crown of the hat. And shocker, we decided not to put a pom-pom on it.
Yes. That is a shocker, isn't it?
I was texting Shay when I finished it and texted a picture to her and all that. I said, I don't think I want to put a pom-pom on this. I mean, it recommends like a pom-pom in the pattern, and it talks about, you know, how big to make the pom-pom and everything, but I don't really think I want to make a pom-pom for it. And we both kind of decided it didn't need a pom-pom. So. Yep.
Yeah. When I saw it, it doesn't need that. The cables are too pretty to mess that up.
That's that. And then the other thing is something that my mom crocheted for us. We had some of the original yarn we were going to use in the Nightshift ball that we decided we wanted to change the yarn we were using. So it was already wound into a cake, and we wanted to do a different project with it. So I found a really simple bandana cowl pattern, and this is, let me pull it up on my phone if I can unlock it. This is called the Bandito cowl. So it's by KRISKRAFTER. That's Kris and Crafter with a K.
Okay.
But yeah, so this uses earth worsted. It's the unique worsted, so it has that kind of stripe to it. And you can see the little bit of pooling it did right here in this pattern up here.
Yeah.
I think it's
go ahead.
I think it's really pretty. I like the fact that it has that. You know, I don't mind it because the rest of it is so, you know, kind of muted and kind of just melts. The colors melt into each other.
Right. I think it's pretty cool looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when she was making it, she was like, this is really kind of a small opening.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, Mom, it stretches. That's the good thing about this is the stitch actually stretches. And I have a pretty big head and a lot of hair, and it fits over my head.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it looks good.
It's supposed to be a close-fitting cowl. So if you want something that's a little bit more loose and draped and all that, this probably wouldn't be the pattern for you. But it does have really nice detail up here at the top. And it was funny because I was talking with Shay, I think it was last night, and showing her this. I was like, this can be a bandana too that you wear on your head. Kind of like people with the hat dana.
Yeah.
Is like a crocheted version.
Yeah, that works great for that.
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can see me without bangs. But yeah.
Cute.
So it's a one skein project, which is kind of nice too. So
yes.
You don't have to worry about buying multiple skeins. But yeah, Bandito cowl. I really like this. But that's finished objects for me.
All right. Well, then we'll move on to what's on our needles.
I'll let you talk.
Guess what? Well, guess what's off my needles, but is going to be going back on my needles. I had hoped to have my passage poncho finished, and it is seamed together with a lovely 3-needle bind off, both shoulders. All I have to do is pick up and knit a few rows for the neck. But after I got the shoulders done, can you see what my problem is? My back is shorter than my front. And when I realized that, I went back and measured it, and it was supposed to measure 18 inches. It only measures 17. And I had measured it before, just shortly before I was going to bind off the neck, back neck stitches, and it measured like 17, between 17 and a half. And I thought, okay, I only have to do about 6 or 8 more rows and I'll be there. And that's what I did. And I quickly 3-needle bind off, you know, or, well, I did my, you know, shoulders, and then put the front and the back together. And as I was admiring, I said, oh, drat. So I was thinking maybe I could go ahead and do the neck and maybe block it out. It's supposed to block out to 20 inches though. So it might be pushing it to get 3 inches out of that 17. So, and I've got plenty of yarn left. So I think I'm gonna take it apart and re-knit the back, you know, add some more length to the back and redo that. And that won't really take me all that long, but it was kind of a depressing moment. So I had to console myself by just some garter stitch knitted dishcloths.
And
that's what I did.
You're not going to take out the entire back completely. You're just
no. I'm just going to rip the shoulders back in that row where I bound off the neck, and then just I should have plenty and just ripping that back to knit the few extra rows I need to make it the 18 inches. So no, I'm not going to completely undo the back, just down to the bound off neck.
Yeah.
And just knit another inch and measure it for sure this time. You know that saying about measure twice, cut once kind of thing? Well, measure twice before binding off.
I've done and I have measured and been like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then I'll finish it and be like, oh, it kind of is a little short. And I generally just block it out. But I think in this case, it probably would benefit to just rip it.
Yeah. Well, I guess because it was still on the needles, maybe I had done something that was kind of stretching it a little bit. Because I wasn't real accurate about measuring it. I just kind of, plopped it on my cutting mat because it has, while it's a gridded with the inches, and I just laid it on there to see where I was. But anyway, and so I had hoped to have the Deschain put together, but I couldn't get over the poncho catastrophe. But I will, just to remind everybody.
Yeah, because this has been the ongoing project you keep talking about.
I know. I did get it blocked, and so the edges are blocked, and that's going to make it much easier to seam together. But, yeah, so maybe I have it upside down. I think it's supposed to go like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's that, and I have the back. And I've actually held them up to each other and know that they should work out. So it's just seaming the shoulders and seaming the sides, picking up and doing the sleeves, and then throwing it in the washer and dryer and get that done, and then go back to the poncho. Yeah, but that's it.
Put the poncho in.
Yeah. Both the poncho and I went into timeout this week.
Well, that's okay. My dotted rays is in timeout right now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, those stitches that I dropped.
Yeah.
Dropped a section of stitches when I was transporting it from one place to the other, one room to the other, because my traveling is from room to room at this point. I can't go anywhere.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I dropped a section of stitches and tried to pick them up and decided that I would just set it aside. It's not hard. It's not going to be terribly difficult. I just need to just set it aside for a few days, and then I'll get back to it.
Right. That traveling from room to room, I saw a meme the other day that said, I'm going to start sleeping on the couch to cut down my commute in the mornings.
Oh, but while my dotted rays has been in timeout,
yeah,
that's when I finished the October hat, and then I picked up this again.
Yay!
So I was like, here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
This has been 2 days of work. It's a straightforward pattern. It's really easy. I just got to the point where I added in the orange. Whoops. I added in the orange, and now I'm getting back to the cream background with the orange.
Okay.
So I think I'm on section 6, or I just finished section 6, and there's a total of 10 sections. Oh,
you're making good progress then.
Yeah. So I'm really excited.
I really like that colorway. I think it's looking really good.
Well, you picked out all these. So.
Well, that's why I like them so much.
Exactly. So this is the, just to clarify, this is the Nightshift. It's a shawl pattern by Andrea Mowry. She did several shift patterns. And this was part of a knit along that we, well, I was going to say we kind of still are hosting it because we were going to end it. And all of this kind of struck with COVID and social distancing before we were going to have a cast-off party. So if you are still, working on yours with us, we had a couple of people sign up for it, then continue to work on it. And I mean, I'm working on mine. It's been a while since I picked it up, but I'm working on it, and we'll have something eventually.
Right. Yes, we will. We will. But, that's a combined effort. Yes, I picked out the colors, but you decided what orders to put them together in. So it was a collaboration.
Yeah. I was kind of inspired, I think, a little bit by Espastricos, because right around the time that we were starting this, they had just finished a sample for their shop.
Yeah.
I liked the way that they did their color palette. So I didn't directly copy the way they did their colors, just because I think they had more than we originally picked out. But or they had a yarn that was variegated that did that, whereas I'm using Moon Shadow, and it's a solid, or more of a solid. It has a little bit of a white.
Yeah.
Kind of
it's kind of a mottled.
Yeah. And this is a cotton and baby alpaca blend, so it's so soft.
Yeah.
And it might not make it to the store. It'll make it to the store. It's for the store, so I can't keep it. But oh my goodness, when people come in, I'm gonna be like, you have to feel this, because it feels amazing.
Yeah, I love that yarn. It's by Plymouth, and I think it's a really nice yarn. I'm loving these cotton wool natural fiber or animal fiber blends. I think that they work up really nice.
Yeah, I really like them too.
Yeah.
Because that's what the Alejandra was. The yarn was a similar thing. It was a cotton and a wool blend. And it's really nice lightness and airiness to it because of the way that the yarn was spun.
Right.
But really soft. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is too. That's Arno from Barocco, and it's a really nice, has a really nice feel to it. So I'm just to see the shawl. Well, what else you working on?
That's it, really.
Mentioned previously about the knit along for the Nightshift shawl, and that's basically over except for our cast-off party, which we've had to delay. But we're starting a new knit along. CASAPINKA offered her. She does a shawl every year since we've been doing local yarn shop day, and that got moved due to the coronavirus to September. It's usually about the last Saturday of the month in April. But CASAPINKA decided, she always does a design for that, and she decided to go ahead and release her design anyway. And it was, I feel like it was kind of a spur of the moment thing, but we decided to, we made up kits for it and everything, and we decided to go ahead and do it as a knit along. So it's called the Breathe and Hope Shawl by CASAPINKA, and the pattern's available on Ravelry. I'm doing it out of some hedgehog fibers, skinny singles, and a solid, the Earth Harvest yarn. And so here's my colorway. It's going to be really kind of neutral.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going for. We some kits together that were some brighter colors. It's a real pretty shawl. I was going to see if I could pull it up here real quick.
I can always insert a picture too.
Okay, well, I'll let you do that then.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty simple pattern she put out, that it contains knits and purls and slip stitches. Mm-hmm. And so fairly easy, kind of a asymmetrical boomerang style.
Mm-hmm. Is it kind of like a crescent shape?
Crescent, well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of asymmetrical crescent shape. So I think it's going to be fun. We've got a lot of people participating in this, and we're going to start on it Tuesday in our virtual knit night.
So that's another reason to join.
Yeah.
I mean,
anybody that join us is welcome.
Yeah, even if you didn't purchase a kit through us, you're more than welcome to join in and cast on with us if you'd like. Join in the knit along. We don't mind. The more the merrier, we always say. And if you do want to participate, but you missed out on the chance to get a free copy of the pattern with the kit, we will still be able to pull together yarn for you. If you want to go to the Facebook page and see some of the kits that we put up for sale, we can still sell some of those to you. A few of them sold out, unfortunately. Some of the colors are popular. But we can still, get a kit together for you, and then you would just have to go to Ravelry and get a copy of the pattern off of Ravelry. So, but yeah, I mean, you can join in with us. So
yeah, it takes 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, at least 400 yards each. So you could even go stash diving and you might find something. But I'll be in the shop on Tuesday to take phone orders if anybody sees a kit that we've posted, or if you call us and say that you want a particular color that we don't have in a kit, I can take pictures and send it to you, and we can come up with something. So
there's a lot of fingering weight yarn that we have at the shop that could work.
We
weren't able to quite, do a whole lot of kit options. We had 24 options anyway, which I think was the most that we've ever done for kit options up to this point.
Right.
Most of the time we've done just a couple of ideas for people to kind of get a start on things, kind of like, oh, I like that kind of color. Can you put it with that? But yeah, so if there's not an option, we can definitely send photos. And I may or may not be there Tuesday. It depends. We still have a lot of inventory work that we're trying to do to get ready to hopefully have an online presence with the shop as well.
Right.
With the semester almost over, that kind of dictates when I'm able to come to work. So I'm glad I have a flexible schedule at work that allows me to take the time off to do.
Right.
But yeah, so Shay will definitely be there. So
yes, yeah, I'm planning to go in. So, but I'm excited about doing the shawl. I think it's very gracious of CASAPINKA to go ahead and release that. She just felt at this time that people would be appreciative of having something new, kind of exciting, to do while we're all quarantining. So, but I thought that was very kind of her to make that available to us. But yeah, you mentioned the shop being closed. The shop has been open for phone orders and curbside pickup, that sort of thing. But, we're closed to the public, and we still are not sure. Some states are starting to open. I know here in Tennessee, the restaurants are going to start opening tomorrow, Monday, and retail, I think, gets to open Wednesday. Of course, it's going to be, you have to be careful about how many people you have in the store at at a time and that sort of thing. And restaurants are gearing up for distancing. Either they're rearranging their tables so they're further apart, that kind of thing. So, but I haven't heard anything about what Alabama's plans are yet.
I'm not really sure, but to be completely honest, I think if they were to continue or extend closing of the non-essential businesses, personally, I wouldn't mind as much. I'd rather be a little bit safer than sorry in the long run. And I know there are people in the area that would agree, but I know a lot of people are also ready to get back to some semblance of normal.
Right.
At this point, I've just been kind of like, it's okay. I'm going to stay home, do my part. Yeah. So
I totally agree, because I'm kind of in that higher risk group, and my children are really concerned. I'm one of those with the children that are saying, no, Mom, you have to stay home. You cannot go out. What do you mean you went to the grocery store?
Well, but you have a mask.
I do. I do.
Necessary precautions.
Yes. And two, the not being able to go to church, that kind of makes it feel really kind of weird. But anyway, it'll hopefully it won't be too much longer, and we'll be able to be more social again. But anyway, well, anything else?
I think that's it, honestly.
All right. Well, I have tea today in a lovely mug made by a lovely lady. Bethany made this for me as a gift, and I've really enjoyed it. And the tea I'm having today is Mango Mambo from Argo Tea, and unfortunately it's no longer available. I checked as I was already making the tea. I already had the tea leaves in it, just poured the water, and I said, let me go check on their website. And they still have a website, and they have some teas available, just not this one, although eBay popped up. So I don't know if you can find it on eBay, but it's I love all things mango, and it's pretty tasty. But it's a tea that I've had for quite a while. It was still in its original jar in the back of my tea shelf. So anyway, I pulled it out because I'd run out of my peach tea that I've been drinking so much. I finally finished that up, and so I started on this one. But that's what I'm having today.
Water.
I
feel bad. I was like,
that's right.
So for anyone who doesn't know, when we are able to podcast together, Shay is the one that always brings tea. So I have my little personal tea maker, Shay, who brings me the perfect cup of tea every time. And I have a whole little box that I keep my different tea bags in and everything. I have that in the kitchen, and I could go in there and make myself a cup of tea, but for some reason I've been forgetting.
That's all right.
But I'm staying hydrated.
That's good. Yeah, because water is really good for hydrating. Tea, not so much. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.